If you've been watching the 360 camera market, you've probably noticed a pretty wild subplot. Alongside DJI Osmo360, there's a camera called the Xtra Sphra360 showing up everywhere, and many people are not just comparing it to DJI's flagship, they're wondering if it's actually DJI hardware in disguise. Today we're going to break both cameras down, specs, performance, features, but also tackle that curious controversy that's buzzing in the community. Let's start with design, because there's really no avoiding it. The DJI Osmo360 looks exactly like what you'd expect from DJI. It's compact, symmetrical, and clean, with dual lenses positioned for seamless 360 capture, a responsive touchscreen, and a solid premium feel in the hand. The buttons are tactile, the finish feels durable, and nothing about it feels accidental. DJI's magnetic quick-release mount system also makes setup fast, especially if you're switching between tripods, selfie sticks, helmets, or chest mounts. Now here's the part that raises eyebrows. Pick up the Xtra Sphra360, and the similarities are impossible to ignore. The shape, lens placement, screen size, mount system, even the way accessories attach, feel almost one-to-one with the Osmo360. This isn't a similar category situation. This is a, wait, didn't I just hold this moment? Online discussions, Reddit threads, and comment sections are full of people pointing this out. And some go a step further, suggesting that Xtra could be a DJI-adjacent brand designed to operate in markets where DJI faces restrictions, particularly in the US. To be clear, there is no official confirmation of this. But the timing, design overlap, and historical context make the speculation understandable. Putting the conspiracy theories aside for a moment, let's talk video quality, because that's why you buy a 360 camera in the first place. The DJI Osmo360 shoots native 8K 360-degree video, and it does so at frame rates up to 50 frames per second. That extra headroom matters if you plan to reframe footage later or export smooth clips for social media. DJI's dual 1x1.1-inch square HDR sensors play a big role here, delivering strong dynamic range and better low-light performance than most older 360 cameras. Footage looks balanced, clean, and predictable, which is exactly what creators want. The Xtra Sphra360 also advertises true 8K 360 video, and in good lighting, it genuinely delivers sharp, detailed footage. On a bright day, walking through a city or filming outdoor activities, the difference between the two isn't massive at first glance. But once lighting becomes challenging, sunsets, indoor scenes, mixed shadows, DJI's image processing starts to pull ahead. Highlights roll off more naturally, shadows retain more detail, and colors look more consistent shot to shot. The Sphra360 can still produce usable footage, but it's less forgiving if your exposure isn't perfect. Single lens mode is another important consideration, especially for creators who don't want to shoot everything in 360. The DJI Osmo360 can switch into a traditional ultra-wide action camera mode, recording up to 4K at 120 frames per second. That makes it viable not just as a 360 camera, but as a regular action cam when you need one. The footage here looks very much like what you'd expect from DJI's action camera lineup: sharp, stabilized, and ready to post. The Xtra Sphra360 also offers single-lens shooting with high frame rates, but the experience feels more secondary. The field of view isn't as well optimized, and stabilization doesn't inspire the same confidence during fast movement. Photo performance tells a similar story. DJI's 120-megapixel 360 photos are excellent for virtual tours, travel shots, and reframing. There's plenty of detail, and the dynamic range holds up well in tricky scenes. The Xtra Sphra360 tops out at around 100 megapixels for panoramic photos, which is still impressive, and for most users, perfectly fine. But again, DJI's tuning gives it the edge, especially when shadows and highlights compete in the same frame. Stabilization is one of DJI's strongest advantages, and it really shows here. Rocksteady and Horizon Steady work together to keep footage smooth and level, even when the camera is bouncing around on a bike, chest mount, or selfie stick. This matters more than ever in 360 video, where shaky footage can quickly become uncomfortable to watch. The Xtra Sphra360 has electronic stabilization and horizon lock as well, and it does a decent job, but side by side, DJI's footage looks calmer and more controlled. Battery life between the two is surprisingly similar. Both cameras can deliver roughly around 100 minutes of continuous 8K recording at 30 frames per second, depending on settings and temperature. DJI does have an advantage when it comes to charging speed and accessories, especially if you're already invested in the DJI ecosystem. Storage options are also comparable, with both offering internal storage plus microSD expansion. And trust me, you'll need it, because 8K 360 footage fills cards fast. Audio and workflow are where DJI really separates itself from the pack. The Osmo360 supports direct microphone input through DJI's audio accessories, which is a huge plus for vloggers and professional creators. The onboard audio is decent, but the ability to upgrade your sound without messy adapters makes a big difference. DJI's Mimo app is also polished and powerful, offering reliable reframing, subject tracking, and quick exports for social media. Xtra's app works and gets the job done, but it feels more basic, especially if you're used to DJI's software experience. Now let's circle back to the controversy, because it's impossible to ignore. There are industry reports and investigative articles suggesting that Xtra has previously sold products that closely resemble DJI hardware, sometimes even appearing to be rebranded or slightly modified versions of existing designs. Combine that with DJI's ongoing regulatory challenges in the US, and it's not surprising that people are connecting dots. That said, it's important to say this clearly: there is no public confirmation that Xtra is owned by DJI or officially linked as a workaround brand. What exists is speculation, circumstantial evidence, and a lot of visual similarity. So how should you, as a buyer or creator, approach this? If you want the most refined experience, predictable performance, and a long-term ecosystem you can rely on, the DJI Osmo360 is the safer choice. It feels like a finished product backed by years of software development and imaging expertise. If you're more budget-focused, curious, or intrigued by the idea of getting near DJI hardware at a potentially lower price, the Xtra Sphra360 becomes an interesting option. Just one with a few more question marks attached.